And I think for some fans, Dan, that was a little bit concerning considering he went from the Browns, which is a tire fire, to Buffalo.
I think he's still processing getting out of Shawshank. And the fact,
so good.
Follow what they do, not what they say. And they brought
men.
The worst.
They are the worst.
No comment.
And that's the open.
This is the Buffalo Plus Podcast, brought to you by Connors and Ferris.
All right, hello, and welcome to the Buffalo Plus Podcast, presented by Connors and Ferris. Mike Catalana, Dan Fates. I am Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We always appreciate it. All right, gentlemen, a lot talked about today. Amari Cooper being traded to the Bills. What we think about this Titans team coming into Orchard Park on Sunday. Kind of just where this team is at in terms of Bills are 4-2, but mentally where this team is at, and then physically what we expect to see out on the field. So let's get started with Amari Cooper. We've had some time to kind of have this trade settle in. Mike, I know we really like this off the bat, but how do you feel like he can now be a fit here with the Bills?
So everybody eats is kind of like you're on a diet, you're keto, whatever you're doing.
Oof.
And then you're sitting there going, this is fine. I like this. This can work for me. Everything is good. And then that big old burger's on the menu and you're like, I'm ordering that.
Yeah.
So the whole time the Bills were like, this is the way we're going to play and we're good and we can give everybody a chance and whatever. And then Amari Cooper for $800,000 becomes available. And all of a sudden, that diet's not looking so good anymore. You want to eat. It's okay to let one player eat more than the rest.
Yes.
Amari Cooper is going to be that player for the Bills.
Yeah, he instantly makes every single Bills wide receiver better. And I tweeted that out right after the trade was made. And Mike and I were driving back from the Meadowlands. He's that rare piece. We left the Meadowlands. If you watch the Buffalo Plus post-game show after the Jets game, I was like, this is a physical team. They are built to win by running the ball down your throat and then having Josh Allen just make some superhuman plays, which he tends to do more often than not. But they were missing a piece to being a real dynamic offense. And we all know that the NFL still is going to be an offensive league. It's still a quarterback league. Amari Cooper drops everybody down a notch. Now,
In a good way.
And so now you have Khalil Shakir doesn't have to feel like the number one. And you have guys that Dalton Kincaid now, because he is a gravity player. Defensive coordinators will now have to say, we can't let Amari Cooper beat us. They didn't really have that before. We've talked about how difficult it is at times for a tight end to be that focal point of an offense. It may take a little bit of time, but Amari Cooper will be that guy. And then that means Keon doesn't have to do as much the responsibilities. It's a more familiar role. It's a more comfortable role for those guys. It's a big plus.
I think it, like what you're saying, it just takes a little bit of the pressure off because you've been having to have guys kind of forced into spots and positions that maybe either they weren't ready for, or maybe the moment was too big, or maybe it was just something that they weren't exactly capable of. But to have Amari Cooper out there, I think it really does just open up what this offense can do. And this is a matchup-based league. And to have a guy that is a number one, that is really impactful and that is really important. And so Brandon Beane, he knows it. And this is obviously why this move was made. He made another move this week, which we can talk about later on with the Tyler Bass stuff. But I think it's important to remember with men, you can't, how do I want to say this? It's not what the man says, it's what he does. And Brandon Beane bringing in another wide receiver says a lot and does a lot.
Are you
How
worried?
did all men took astray there?
Yeah.
Because Brandon Beane didn't bring in enough wide receivers until October.
But my concern, guys, and I don't know about you, but Cooper's personality being a distraction in the locker room.
We had some comments. People were asking because Amari Cooper at his introductory press conference seemed very low-key, very answered the questions, but didn't show a lot of emotion. And I think for some fans, Dan, that was a little bit concerning considering he went from the Browns, which is a tire fire, to Buffalo.
I think he's still processing getting out of Shawshank. And the fact,
so good.
And the fact,
so good.
And the fact that there's this freedom and that Zay Watanabe, he's there and he's got to process what it's like to now have a real quarterback that can really throw him the ball and that they can be an effective offense.
When they talked to him, he said, It's time to get busy living or get busy dying. We're going to do a lot of Shawshank here. The other thing I would mention is, since my daughter once lived in both Columbus and Cincinnati, that drive from Ohio to Buffalo can make you feel a little off. It's an awful drive. I hate driving that. I hate it. Past Cleveland is even worse, but I think he drove that and he was sitting there going,
and he made
just
that
get me home.
turn.
Yeah.
He made that 90-degree turn. That's what you make. If you know, you know. It's
you know.
So
It was funny. He did say that he felt like arriving in Buffalo felt like the first day of school, but the drive was really long.
Yeah.
It's like, that's fair. I just think that this is, look, we have a colleague who covers the Browns, and I was kind of asking her, like, you know, what do you get from Amari? Like, what can we expect? And she's like, he is not going to be a media darling. He's not going to be someone that you can't wait, like, oh, we got to wait on hand and foot to see what Amari says. But she's like, obviously what he does on the field is special. And someone put in the chat that he is kind of like the antithesis of Stephon Diggs in terms of the personality. And I think that's something that, I don't know if it's intentional. I think it's the price that worked out the best for the Bills, but it is something to note that he is just a different type of guy. And I think that's something that Bills fans will have to get acquainted to.
if Amari Cooper would have talked when he opened his mouth and spoke like Mike Tyson, or if he would have had a thick Southern
What if he
draw,
sounded like Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, like I would have been like, oh, that's what he sounds like. I had never heard the guy talk before.
And he played in Dallas.
And he's a 5-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
He has 7 1,000-yard seasons. It's not like he's a nobody. He is a proven number one guy. And I know we've talked about it before, but looking at the construction of things like this, when Steve Smith said that Keon Coleman should be a big slot receiver, that's great in a vacuum. That maybe that would work then, but it's not, because then somebody else has to play outside. You now have somebody that can play inside. Now maybe you can get Keon a few more reps inside, because Amari is a true outside wide receiver that can run all the routes. He can stretch the field. He can catch the ball. I think he was fed up in Cleveland. He had gotten paid during the offseason. Like the writing was on the wall that, and for everybody that says the Bills fleeced the Browns, I think the Browns did pretty well in return. He's a 30-year-old receiver. If I'm playing the other side of this, devil's advocate, he's a 30-year-old receiver that was going to be not back next year. You get a 3rd-round pick back. You swap late-round picks. I think it's a good deal for both sides. I don't think this was by any way a fleece.
No, I actually think you're right. 3rd-round pick for a player that is a free agent at the end of the year. If you're Cleveland, you take it. Now, I'm looking at the Bills' 2025 picks. A big reason Brandon Beane was able to make this deal and to feel comfortable giving up a 3 is because he got a 2 in the Diggs deal. Now, that pick doesn't look maybe as good as you would have thought at the beginning of the year, because it's
going to look like a
Minnesota's
3.
Yeah.
2. And that looks like it's going to be late in the round. But I'm looking at their picks for next year. They have their 1. They have 2 2s, their own in the Vikings. They don't have a 3, but they have a 4, 2 4s, 1 from Chicago, 1 their own, no 5, a 6, and then a 6 from the Giants. And they're going to get 2 comp picks in the draft, 1 for Leonard Floyd.
Yep.
And another one for Gabe Davis.
Gabe Davis.
Yeah. So they're going to be adding picks, maybe 3rd, 4th, maybe 4th round, something like that, 4th and a 5th. So they pile up the picks. It's those early ones. And knowing that you have 2 2s takes a little sting out of giving up a 3 for a guy who may just finish the season.
Here's a guy
who'll catch the football. Now, he's, every stat guy's going to tell you he's led the league in drops because he's got 8.
Yeah. I think this is when stats, what is it? Booger's line, stats are like bikinis. They show some, but not all.
It's a great stat.
A
great line.
But that being said, like, context matters. Deshaun Watson was throwing him the ball. And so.
Man, I said the other day when we were doing it, I watched because the Eagles were playing the Browns.
It's hard.
Deshaun Watson is awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an awful football player now.
He's a better football player than human.
I don't know. It's close now.
No, I don't
think so. Wait, you're right. It's the other way.
Yeah, he
may be
used
a better
to be
human.
a good football player. When I say bad, he has no idea what to do. So if you're
It's
a wide
actually the other way.
receiver, some players are going to put the ball in harm's way somewhere. He has no idea. So if you're that wide receiver, and Dan, you said it when we were in New York, you said, or Jersey, you said the Bills don't have those plays that are timing, 2-step drop out of your hand.
Bang. Yeah.
There's no rhythm to their passing offense.
Part of the reason they can't do some of those things is teams can play your wide receivers tight.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
difficult to beat them one-on-one. You have now opened the whole thing up with Amari Cooper.
The Adventures of Steve and Lori, RV Life and More says Cooper is going from a Pinto to a Ferrari.
Yes.
That's very good.
I do like that. That's a good one.
Also, can we address the elephant in the room?
MVS is gone.
So
No, I was
Watch
listen.
this.
I was
Listen.
legitimately gonna call on the
Nope.
last
Watch
on
this.
the you ask we answer. But
Nope.
I was gonna say, you know what? And Dan's gonna say, oh, since MVS is
Yep.
gone, that Amari
I get Amari Cooper. I
That's
get Amari
not,
Cooper.
No.
You guys have a 6-game lead, and I get Amari Cooper. That's how this
No,
works. MVS is out. That was my guy.
No.
Hand up. Shocking. I've had a wrong take before.
I
and-
love how even he does that, diminishes how hard he was like.
Well, I
you
saw
guys are
comments
wrong.
on the You Ask We Answer, and they're like, Dan was wrong, all these things.
Oh, no. People were like, Dan wasn't just wrong. He was absurdly wrong.
And honestly,
'Cause
I was
you-
still only one game, like one big MVS game.
No.
It's still coming.
No.
Yeah, for a different
Here's
team.
the deal. How about when I said to you, week 1, is MVS even going to be active? You were offended.
Well, I heard that in training camp.
They
Yeah,
should have
it-
cut him then.
Yeah,
No.
He did absolutely nothing.
I get
think-
Amari Cooper.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you can play your own game. Jenna and I aren't paying attention to that.
Josh Clark says you get KJ Hamler now.
I still wouldn't be that far behind
I know.
everybody else.
That really is something.
Yeah.
That tells you a little bit. Well,
That's fair.
Shakir, we didn't even mention this enough. He was tough. He was not ready to play in that game physically. There's no way. And he hung in there, made one nice third down catch for them.
Yeah.
But
And Curtis Samuel made some catches.
I know. He got downfield.
He tried.
He tried to drop that
He
one.
tried to
That was
drop
not
it.
good. And I had tweeted that nothing good happens when you throw to Curtis Samuel. Nothing had happened.
Yeah.
And then he made a big play. So maybe that opens it up for
Are you seeing this comment from Man of War? Super tip. Dan gets Cooper to replace MVS. No. Man of War.
Nope.
no.
Nope.
I didn't read that last part. I just read Dan gets Cooper to replace MVS, and then I stopped reading. So
No, that's literally what the comment is.
You're right. And it's not happening.
We're saying no.
Yeah, we're saying no.
Oh, Man of War, shout out. You want a hat? DM me. I'll get you a hat.
Oh
I
my
respect it.
gosh.
Thanks for the tip. I appreciate the comment. We'll keep this
You're-
rolling.
Yeah, you know what his real tip is? You ain't getting Amari Cooper.
Nope.
There's your
Yeah.
tip.
I get Cooper.
Yeah.
No,
No.
not
I don't make the
happening.
rules. I don't know
Yes.
what I'm to say.
Right. You're literally making up the rules right now.
What?
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 What do you mean? Okay. Let's talk about where this Bills team is at. Or do we want to talk Tyler Bass? Someone
Well,
asked,
that plays into it a little bit.
Ryan Tongan asked, is this live? Yes, Ryan. It is live
Yes.
right now. Tyler Bass. So Brandon Beane spoke this week. He was obviously asked about Amari Cooper. That was the reasoning behind his press conference. But he was also asked about Tyler Bass, as the Bills have brought in a kicker, signed him to their practice squad. Mike, Beane has talked a lot about how, Tyler Bass has needed to make kicks in the past, and he's still our guy, all this stuff. But this says a little different.
Here's why it's different. If you look at a guy like Von Miller, who last year is on the roster, and he was terrible, right?
That is correct.
Right? He
Yeah.
was doing nothing. So what do you do with Von Miller? You cannot cut him because of the amount of dead cap money. When we say that the salary cap is not real, that's in terms of what you can do with it going forward. You manipulate the cap to make it fit for you. But when you make a mistake in the cap, so you re-up a guy early, it's tougher. You're gonna have to pay the price a little bit when that happens. Diggs was one of them. They made that decision to say, we'll take the heat because we want to move on from him. But the difference is with a player like Von Miller, as much money as he makes, Von just got less snaps. He's on the roster. In fact, they deactivated him for one game, which is hard to take when you're paying him that much money.
Yeah.
But he's on the roster. The hope is that he'll eventually get better. But you can't be stupid. You take him off the field. Can't do that with the kicker. You have one kicker.
That is
He's
correct.
either your guy or he's not. So
Yeah.
obviously, if there was a backup kicker, and I know they just signed a guy to the practice squad, but if there had been a backup kicker, let's just pretend Let's pretend Sam also kicks field goals.
Okay.
Okay. The other guy would have gone in the game. There's no question.
Yeah.
This guy is not good enough. He has to be better. Now they've made the move to bring in a practice squad guy. Okay. Let's see what they do with it.
Right.
If they're ready to put this guy on the field. Because in other cases, there'd be a veteran kicker out there or a guy that you liked, and you'd sign him and Bass would be gone. I know there's a cap hit and everybody's talking about that.
They're not going to let it lose them games.
Well, they're getting close.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. We've said it before. They'll eat the money not to lose a game.
Especially as it gets later and later in the year.
I worry that they will lose a game and then the move will happen.
Well, that game happened on Monday.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make it better because the other guy missed 2 kicks.
Correct.
Like, you just got lucky.
Yes.
So lucky.
Yeah. I made the joke with Jenna on the You Ask, We Answer that it's like coming home, getting a 67 on a test. And then you tell your mom, well, Joe and Bill got 55s. Like, she doesn't care. You got a 67. You stunk.
It's a great analogy.
Yeah. And in this case, it's like they got lucky. That is the game they lost because of the kicker, but they ended up winning because of the other kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fair. The pressure is definitely on. And I'm wondering how Bass will respond to this. I think he'll have the opportunity on Sunday.
Yeah.
But I expect it to be more of the same, in my opinion. But I'm curious if this might light a fire. And to my thought process, it would be like, well, why didn't you bring in someone earlier? But the expectation in my eyes is that it will be a pretty quick and swift decision for the Bills to just say, all right, it's no longer Bass.
We've talked about Bass on this channel. We've talked about where his leash is into that respects. And at times, I think I said it 2 weeks ago, like he's 1 kick away. And then it was an extra point that was blocked and one thing or another. This is the first time they've really they didn't have anybody in training camp, or they had a rookie. I think it was the rookie from UB. I think he was in for a little bit of training camp, but it wasn't really serious competition. This is the first time where we made the joke. It's you're with your significant other, and then all of a sudden another person's hanging around. You're like, oh, they're just a friend. They're just a friend. They're getting very close to taking a vacation together to the playoffs without you. And that's where we're heading with Tyler Bass. I feel like he's on borrowed time. He's a guy that looks like we've all been there on the tee box. You're over your drive and you're like, I just hope this goes in the fairway. That's what it feels like with Tyler Bass right now. It doesn't feel like, hey, I'm going to make this kick. It's a hope. I'm kicking it and I hope this goes in.
When you were on the field on Monday night, what was the body language like?
Sad. It was as soon as he hit that kick, all I'm doing is focused on the kicker. I'm not watching to travel with the ball. I'm just watching Tyler Bass. And the second, I didn't need to hear the crowd reaction. I could see it on his face before he hit the ball. Like, I really hope this goes in. And the second it hit his foot, he had the look of like, it happened again. I will say, and we can get to where this team is and leadership and stuff like that. Terrell Bernard went right up to him as Bass is kind of walking off the field. Some of the other guys give him the pat on the back, like, hey, it's all right, man.
Yeah.
Terrell Bernard got right in his face and was like, it's fine. We'll pick it up from here. And the defense did. The defense, they got lucky too, sure, with two field goals that hit the post for the Jets. But I loved seeing that young leadership because you're on a 2-game skid. Things are going wrong in this game. You're shooting yourself in the foot with penalties. You're overly emotional to some respects in that game. Yeah. And you have a young leader stepping up and making leadership big play moments.
I love that out of Bernard. But this league, as Beane said, is a production league. Mm-hmm. And we talk all the time about it being a meritocracy.
But those are different things. I'm just talking about.
I'm saying is you can only get that out of players
Dan, we need to go live.
You can only get that out of players so many times. Where they're like, it's okay, we'll get the next one. It's okay, we'll get the next one. Your one job is to make kicks.
Yeah.
He's not making kicks.
Oh, is it?
At some point in that thing, that those tap him on the backs and say, we got your back, becomes
hollow.
Phony. Hollow.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. I love that Bernard is there.
I was looking at it from a Bernard perspective.
You're right.
And not a Tyler Bass
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying is that Beane is putting too much on his team to be sticking up for a guy, because in other positions, that guy would be benched. The difference is at kicker, you got to cut his ass. Yeah. And they should have done it already.
Agreed. He's on borrowed time already, in my opinion.
The reason I brought that up is I'm saying is Beane is putting the rest of his team in a bad spot in this case. With his kicker. These guys
You're yelling at me like I'm disagreeing with
not
your
yelling at you. I'm saying
this is when we read him a tweet and he goes, "Can you believe that, Dan? I didn't tweet it."
It's not the same thing. I'm not saying that I agree with your point on Bernard. It was the Kansas City game. It was the Pittsburgh game before that. It was in the Miami game where he shanked one. And it's constant. Good job. Don't worry. We'll be good. Hey, don't you think on the side sometimes they're sitting there going, freaking guy's got to make a kick.
Yeah, of course.
And it's too much put on them. If they failed like that, their butt would be sitting on the bench. That's my point. Not Terrell Bernard.
Yes.
He's like,
I hear you.
You know.
So obviously this is something that you feel very strongly about. So no, I don't mean that in an offensive way, but why don't you think they have not moved on?
I don't know. Honestly, I know there's the cap hit, and you can talk about the cap hit all you want, but you have to figure out a way to create more space and get the right kicker in there. Is there not enough evidence at this point to say this isn't going to change? Are you just trying to hold on a little bit longer? Other teams have made moves. If there's 3 or 4 good kickers out there, a lot of them have been scooped up already or veterans. Maybe he's going to make a trade. I don't know. Maybe he's going to make a trade for a veteran on one of these bad teams. I don't know.
Trading for a kicker feels icky.
Well, so the Bills obviously did sign Lucas Havrisik to the practice squad.
It's a hockey name.
It is. It's the Sabres fourth liner.
Yep. Goalie in Edmonton.
But Mike, you look at some of his stats and it looks pretty
not great, Bob.
I was gonna say it looks pretty comparable to Tyler Bass. So it's like, why?
The only thing I could think of is when he brought him in for a workout, he just looked really good. And, kickers, like golfers, make adjustments to the way they kick. I never noticed from his stats if he had a big leg, like where you're seeing 58, 59 yarders.
I guess he hit something like that in high school. I saw that he has the state record for wherever he went.
And maybe they want to get a look at him at practice for a few weeks and make a determination. I'm saying is I think this is hey, I said, Beane looked at his wide receiver room and said, we need more. And he went out and did it. Now it works in the cap and all those things, but the kicker is so all or nothing. He's either making it or he's not. I mean, Taron Johnson's a great player. He didn't make a play in the end zone on the Hail Mary. Okay, but he's going to make 10 other ones. The kickers just got to make kicks.
Yeah. No, I get it.
What's it going to take? This week? Next week? The week after?
He's lost some games, so it's not.
My expectation is the next when they lose because of him.
But that's a reactionary decision.
I think sometimes, though, this Brandon Beane, Sean McDermott, front office, head coaches, I think they're very, very loyal to their guys.
Loyal to a fault, then.
And I think that they are, I think they can be loyal to a fault. And I think sometimes it takes having that reaction of being like, we cannot do this.
You know who they weren't loyal to? MVS.
I didn't care about him.
Stray for no reason. It's just uncalled for.
Oh, what do you care? You have Amari Cooper.
I do.
No, don't give him that. But no, I think it can be, which is kind of an odd knock, but I think sometimes they are very, very loyal to a point where it's like, look, this guy has seen you what he is on the field. And I know he might be a great guy in the locker room and all this stuff, but if you're not performing on the field, at a certain point, it has to just be about that. It is a business.
Jordan Poyer.
Yeah.
Trey White.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gone.
And that's why I was saying to Jenna's point, Beane was proactive with finding a wide receiver. It took him 6 weeks, and an off season. It wasn't just like we went into this off season thinking they don't have a wide receiver that is supposed to play on the outside. And it's also admitting your mistake. That's where I give Beane credit. Like at some point he did have to say, like, these are the wide receivers that we brought to the table to eat, and they're not very good. So somebody's got to get kicked out of the table.
I don't think we should give him credit. I just feel like should be a piece of the job.
What I'm saying is I give him credit for making the move.
Yeah, I agree. But he was the one that...
This is a little bit reactionary. That's why I'm saying with the kicker, be proactive. Before he costs you the game, make the move.
Then that's why I was saying my critique is sometimes they are too loyal.
Right.
Because it hamstrings them making a move.
I wanted to interrupt you so
and I
bad.
stopped.
Yeah,
I
you
stopped
did.
myself.
You're good.
I stopped myself. The difference is they got Amari Cooper now for $800,000. in the offseason, it would have been $20 million.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because the Browns had to pay him up front to make him more viable for a trade. And that's what they did. So, look, we could say he's playing chess and he's waiting this out, but you never know how these things are going to work out. I will say he made the best. He made end up being a great move, I think.
Absolutely.
With Cooper. I just sit there and look and I go, they keep saying, Sean said it during the preseason. He's got to make those kicks.
Yeah. Yes.
This is nothing new.
Exactly.
Right.
But follow what they do, not what they say. And they brought
men.
The worst.
They are the worst.
No comment.
And that's the
open. Real quick, Christopher DiMatto too. The hat on the table made available for purchase. You can always check out the Buffalo Plus store, buffaloplusstore.com. Also, while we're talking about it, a quick little reminder, if you are listening right now and you're saying, hey, I would love to be able to take Buffalo Plus, but maybe not always have the YouTube app open. If you just download the Buffalo Plus on the podcast version, you can find it wherever you listen to your podcasts. So you can get the audio only version available wherever you find your podcasts. Just Buffalo Plus is the name.
And obviously, if you're watching here right now, joining us, 33,000 subscribers, we really appreciate it. I don't think we stress enough how much this has grown and taken off. And the people that say, hey, Dan, watch out for the jugs machine as I'm walking on onto the field. Like, that's a cool feeling to know like what we've kind of built. So I know it sounds like a very trivial thing to what they always talk about, like, comment, subscribe. It really helps us. So tell your friends.
It does. Oh, people are liking too. Sorry.
So that just, again, really helps us.
I also want to let all of you know.
I interrupted you.
That's fine.
I also want to let all of you know, we will have more details on this, but we are going to be making an appearance in Orchard Park.
Yes.
Coming up next month, we will have more of the details. So if you're in Rochester, Buffalo,
Syracuse,
Southern Ontario, wherever you want to be,
Cleveland,
we will be making an appearance to do this podcast live
at a brewery.
Yes. We'll have more information.
We will have more, but it's coming up pretty soon, but we'll give you enough advance notice. You'll see some stuff soon. So and we will be there.
Very exciting. All right, let's talk about where this team is at. 4-2, obviously in a nice spot in the AFC East. The Titans coming in. We talked earlier on this season so much about that first 6-game chunk and just how challenging that would be. Now the Bills are past that. To be 4-2, I think every Bills fan would have signed up for that. Now you get to this part of your schedule where this Titans team, they're 1-4, Mike. The defense looks really good. The offense looks really bad in terms of Will Levis. What does Buffalo need to do now that they've gotten through this stretch?
Well, the stretch is important. I always talk about these as rearview mirror games, right? Because when you're watching that Jets game, you're going, oh my God, we did this and we gave up the Hail Mary and this screwed up and too many penalties. All that.
Yeah.
You know what? When you look in that rearview mirror,
it's a win.
It's a win. And you're 4-2 and the Jets are 2-4 and you're 2.5 games up in the division. You have given yourself a great spot, especially considering you lost back-to-back games.
Yeah.
And especially that tough one to Houston. Now they go into this game and they are clearly the better team. And I think on Sunday, they handle the Titans like a good team should. I don't think there's it's a short week and all those kind of things. I think this team's going to get a little boost because Cooper's on the field. I think that's going to help.
And they're back at home.
They're back at home. They haven't been home in a while. I think they're a good football team. My concern, like Dan was saying, when Dan was talking about where they are with the offense, we were saying that. You were saying is they have to play smash mouth football. And I said to you, they need to play it that way. There was no other way for them to play.
Yep.
So now I look at it and go, now you've got this receiver going forward, and this defense is going to get better and better. Yep. You say it all the time. They're always a top 10 defense. They figure out a way. Maybe Ed's back
Sean
this
haters.
week. Yeah. Milano. Chris Long, I quote Chris Long all the time. He says, Sean has small guys play big. And he goes, I'm not talking about their stature.
Yeah.
He's talking about AJ Epinesa flying off the edge and making a play. He's talking about the guys that aren't considered great, but you're getting some of those back.
Yeah.
It could be Matt Milano coming back is what they're hoping for. So I look at that with the defense, and now with Coleman, I think this is a team that absolutely
Cooper.
can compete. Oh, yes, Cooper and Coleman. This is a team that can absolutely compete with the top two in the conference, which in fairness, you got to say is the Chiefs and the Ravens now,
Yeah.
right? They're the
Chiefs,
top two.
Ravens, and Texans.
Yeah. That's
Like,
fair.
I mean,
would, yes.
the Bills are right now, currently, we're not at Halloween yet, but they are the fourth best team
Right.
in the standings. And I think in your power rankings. Now, again, I think they will continue to get better. Halloween is, they kind of talk about as the benchmark of knowing who you are as a team. So I think Cooper takes a little bit of time. Trading for a wide receiver in the season historically doesn't usually pan out, a la Calvin Benjamin and other guys. Cooper's been the one example.
Yes.
Yeah.
That he's been traded in season and it's made an immediate impact. So he said that he's kind of been through that before. While he did say, hey, this is like my first day of school, at least he has some familiarity with going to a new locker room, understanding a new playbook in the middle of the season, which I think, again, makes it more desirable and why you have such confidence that, like, hey, it may not be this week. I don't think he plays 75% of the snaps.
No.
But I think he plays 50%. I think they will have enough of a package in for him to make an impact in this game. But I think in this, you have the Titans, you have the Seahawks. Can be a little tricky heading to Seattle, but they're still trying to figure themselves out after a hot start. And you go to Indy. So 3 winnable games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
definitely.
winnable games. I think you feel good getting out of that 6-game gauntlet. We thought it wasn't necessarily as much of a gauntlet. I think we'll look back and say it was a really tough stretch. But 4-2, and I think you are in the driver's seat now heading into this next stretch of the season.
Last year, he went and got Rasul Douglas.
Yeah.
I thought that was an outstanding
And
move.
he didn't even know the playbook.
That's right. Just ask Poe.
Just ask Poe.
That's what he would do. I think Rasul Douglas has become a clear leader, number one.
Yeah.
I
corner.
love listening to him.
He is. He's good.
Yeah.
And so now you do this. It's funny. I'm sure Beane wants to just delete that Kelvin Benjamin move.
Yeah.
And a Wyatt Teller trade.
Yes.
Yeah. There was some factors in that Wyatt Teller trade.
But still.
The
But it
Kelvin
still ends up
Benjamin,
being his. But the Kelvin Benjamin, a guy they knew and went out and got, he just wasn't in many ways anything like these type of players. I mean, you made a trade for Stephon Diggs. The guy is a worker, in great shape, a practice guy, all those things. Forget the personality. Amari Cooper is the same kind of guy. It wasn't Kelvin Benjamin.
You want to run routes?
No, I'm good.
That was a 6-year anniversary.
I
That tweet circulated
tweeted
again.
out. I was like, wow.
Yes.
That's a
People
lot.
don't forget.
A lot has changed in 6 years.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the Titans because, like I said earlier, they're 1-4. I think Will Levis. It's a tough kind of situation. They have their first year head coach Brian Callahan, but then you have Willis. Oh my God,
Will Levis.
Yes, thank you, Will Levis, who some people compare to Josh Allen.
Is that just because he had one good year in college and he's 6'4" and white? Like that just seems to be like, oh, big
He's
arm.
got a big arm.
Big arm. Yeah.
But do you want to say it or do you want me to say it?
You
Go
can
ahead.
say it.
Okay.
No, come on. It was yours.
Okay, I said that Will Levis is a Temu Josh Allen. I feel bad about it, but
What do you feel bad
I don't
about?
know. It's not really nice.
The mayonnaise guy we're talking about
Okay,
here?
first of all, I love mayo.
The head coach is screaming at him during the Jets game. What the blank are you doing?
I know.
And it wasn't on the sidelines, like on the bench. It was in the middle of the field. He didn't let him get off the field yet. He's like Temu because when you order it, and Jenna orders a lot of things online, Zach pays for most of it.
Yes.
But the fact of the matter is you don't know when it's coming. You don't know what country it's coming from. You don't know the quality and what if you're actually going to get what you ordered. So you may have ordered a Josh Allen from Kentucky. You got a really bad version of him because I don't think he's the guy.
You got a DH gate fake.
What?
DH gate? DH gate.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, a lot of people will buy like counterfeit like sports jerseys. and,
Yes.
like, yeah.
Yeah, like the numbers are like crooked and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his time is numbered in Tennessee because Brian Callahan wants to come in and wants to have his guy. He inherited a young quarterback that the franchise wanted, but when you bring in a coach and it's not your guy, you're going to lose. I'd rather lose with the guy that I picked.
Yeah.
So,
their backup is Mason Rudolph. Look, this is a franchise that is in a bit of disarray because you brought in the quarterback. Now you bring in the coach. You don't have another young player. You have traded away good players. You went out and got Snead. You paid him.
He's really good.
He is, but I'm saying is they're not on the same page here. Simmons is getting older. Like they're sort of all over the map.
If you would have given this team to Mike Vrabel, he would have won a lot of games.
Yeah.
I know you're not a Vrabel guy.
No, I didn't say that, but they lost
You're not
games.
a Vrabel guy.
Nope, that's not the case. I'm saying is he's lost games.
Vrabel and he loves Stroud. Those are the two guys that
Oh my God.
I love it.
No, I like Vrabel. I like Vrabel as a coach. I liked him as a head coach. I just said that they could lose games with Mike Vrabel, but you felt like eventually they were going to get back to playing like that.
Yeah.
They had an identity.
They had a
Everybody
culture,
hated
too.
playing against. I'm not saying Brian Callahan can't create that. He could create something that's more like 2024 where you have an offense, you have a quarterback. But they said to him, go try to do it with Will Levis. And
it's not his guy.
And he did it with Joe Burrow. Like, this isn't a guy that built a young quarterback up. Like, Joe Burrow's a first overall pick. Like, Will Levis was, what, a third?
Right, but it is. But Josh Allen needed to be built up too, and Brian Daboll did a great job with that.
Yeah.
I'm saying is in this case, this guy does not appear to be on that trajectory.
Correct. And also, Burrow and Allen were completely different coming out of college.
Yeah.
Right.
One was a polished first overall
National
pick.
champion,
National
Heisman
champion.
winner.
Played with big time
Yes.
players in big time games. Like
Yeah.
Josh was in the Idaho Potato Bowl. Like there's a difference
Yes.
of what I'm just saying. Like,
No, you just said that with an accent.
Yeah.
Idaho Potato Bowl.
games. That's how you're supposed to say it.
And by the way, I didn't write the tweet. You're yelling at me.
no, I'm just saying it's because
Michael, that was good.
if you want, like, I look at this team.
By the way, I
And
just
you
hurt
talk-
my hand. I hit the rock.
Oh,
Holy-
yeah, sorry.
Look out.
If you talk to there's a video you did what they're talking about in Nashville, or what they're
Yeah.
saying in Nashville with John Burton, and like they don't have an identity.
No identity.
You fired a coach that had an identity, and a coach that you stripped pieces away. You traded away AJ Brown. You let Derrick Henry go. Like, all of these things. Vrabel worked with. He made chicken soup out of chicken shit. Like that was what he kind of did. But he got his guys to play hard. And like, the Titans have been in games. Like, I'm not saying but their quarterback is the one that has shot themselves in the foot. And with how good this defense is, they're banged up right now, but they are a top 5 talent-wise defense. And whether or not Snead plays and what did Deion call him? Jeff. He just kept calling him Jeff.
Jeffrey Simmons, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
They were asking about him today, and he goes, "Oh, I love Jeff." And Jen and I are sitting there watching this press conference. I'm going, "Who the hell's Jeff?" I've never heard him call him Jeff before. And
yeah, my boy Jeff. I was like, who is Jeff?
like, is there a Jeff?
So Jeff isn't like Clemens.
No, good friends.
Yeah, no. All right, this was just a funny comment. Nathan, he's saying, not sure who said it, but I agree. Dan looks like a teacher. Mike looks like a book writer, and Jenna looks like a news anchor.
Make that a promo.
By the way, a little baseball update for you. Aaron Judge, 2-run homer. Yankees now have taken the lead on Cleveland.
4-3?
It's 4-3 Yankees.
Wow.
In the
What
eighth
inning? Where's
Eighth
Sal
inning.
Marana?
Oh, who knows?
Sorry, I
knows?
didn't mean to. I just thought that comment was funny.
Um,
Also, I don't think people know that we do. Some people don't know that we do anchor,
yes.
like at least sports, not news.
So, yes, I've been doing it for, God, it's almost,
well, wait, can we tell everyone
it's
that
38 and a half years that I've been anchoring the news.
I thought your anniversary was December?
Yeah, I'm done. I worked almost 2 years in Binghamton.
Oh, that's right. I forgot
Yeah.
about it.
And then he anchors in the car every day.
That's right.
He just does a
Damn
5-hour podcast.
You guys need to
You gotta go
listen.
to
You
break.
guys have no idea. You guys thought you had a long drive back from the Meadowlands.
Hold on. Hold on.
Michael,
Jenna
wait.
might be able to say something. Dan can't say anything because Dan's having his own show or he's on a radio show and people in the other cars can hear him while he's talking.
Didn't someone yell at you?
That was the airport.
Oh, okay.
TSA.
You guys are both talkers.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's okay.
He trumps me. He's a Hall of Fame talker.
That is true. Michael's Hall of Fame ceremony next week.
I know. I got to make
know.
a speech.
What are you going to say?
See?
Find something.
They can't answer me back. I can say whatever I want.
That is
You
true.
guys may stand up and say in the middle of
Should
it.
we heckle?
That's what I need.
All right. Anything else before we get to credit to me?
Picks?
Oh yeah, duh. Picks. Well, we are tied 5-2.
I'm only a game back 4-3. Wait a minute.
No.
That's not right.
Five
No.
and
You're 5. You're
We're 5-1.
5-1, and I'm 4-2.
We're
Correct.
5-1.
God, credit. Let's keep taking credit.
You want to go first, Jenna?
Sure. I have the Bills winning this game 31-17. The Titans offense obviously has struggled a lot. I think this is a situation where the Bills defense can kind of get after it. I think Will Levis is due for 2 ridiculous turnovers because of poor decision making. And I think the Bills offense with Amari Cooper, like Dan said earlier, I don't expect to see him out there for 75% of the snaps, but I think they'll have some set packages for him to work in. I think he has a really nice game, not a great game, but a nice game, puts up a couple catches, a couple nice stats. And then I think they're finally at home. I think this team has been able to use motion a lot more when they've been at home, and I expect to see that on Sunday. So I have the Bills winning 31-17.
I'll go next because you're last. So, that was a good one. I got you good there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You got me.
Spicy. Everybody was talking about how last episode you and me were very spicy. I'm going at Mike today.
Mike was a little spicy today.
Yeah.
Well, he
You
was
were-
yelling at me about the bass thing. And
Well, I was
just-
right.
Yeah.
It's all your fault.
I was trying to make a point about good teammates, and he's like, the kicker stinks. And I was like, I'm aware of that. As for this game, this would be for me a spot where I'm worried about a little bit of emotional letdown. You get so hyped up for the Monday night game, playing your division rival that you just hate so much, as Deion Dawkins would later post on social media. Deion got the last laugh in that one. But I think because they haven't been home in three weeks and nearly a month, I think that takes away a little bit of that emotional letdown. I think the crowd will help them get back up. I think they jump out early. I think Will Levis is one of, for everybody that gambles out there, Will Levis may be the worst second half quarterback in the history of gambling. He is 14 games he has started. He is 2-12 against the spread in the second half. There's a little fun tidbit for you. I just don't think that there's enough. This is a classic dude game. Who's got more dudes? I like the Bills. I think they got more better players, better roster, better quarterback, better coaching staff, all of those things. It may be uncomfortably close at times, but I think the Bills get the win. I think they cover the 9.5 when all is said and done. 24-13, I have the final.
Yeah. Bills are the better team. I don't think it's going to be uncomfortable at all. I think they dominate the game. I don't think the Titans are a good team. I think their defense is good. It's a little overrated statistically. They've been hanging in games, but they've been lower scoring games. And I think they're a little banged up, and I think those defensive guys are getting tired of watching the offense do what it's done. And if they get a lead on this team, sorry, Will Levis ain't coming back. 31-13 Bills.
Yeah. Okay. Man of War asking, will Cooper get a touchdown this weekend? Yes or no?
I predicted it.
Yeah.
I should have said it in the pick. I'm saying Cooper. I think they give him a package of plays like you can do with a player, and I think he comes up with one. I think he double moves. Josh lays it out for him. Place goes crazy. Now, I'm trying to think, who have we had in Buffalo where you can do the, like it sounds like boo, but you're saying coo for Cooper? Have they had anybody like that? Because I think that's going to happen.
Booby Dixon.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
that's
that's
deep
going back.
cut.
Was it? Yeah,
Wow.
I guess it was. Did people yell boo for Booby?
I'm
I'm
trying-
saying, as you know, where they yell
He
like
didn't score many.
it's like a Lou, or you need it for like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I was trying to think. I don't remember another Cooper.
I'm trying
Somebody's
to think. I feel like there was, though.
Bees.
Beasley. Yeah.
yeah, there was a little bit
Well,
of that.
Bruce, but obviously that's been a while.
That's probably the one.
That's
That's
it.
the one. But that's I
Credit.
should have remembered that. Credit to you.
Rousseau. Nope. That doesn't.
Also-
no, nobody else. Yeah.
Also, credit to Jenna. She nailed the score last week.
Oh, that was going to be my credit to me.
Go ahead. Start
Okay,
the segment.
fine. My credit to me is that I properly predicted the Bills score. I've also been pretty hot on my expectations of who scores Bills touchdowns. I got the Ray Davis one. I got another one too.
Mac Hollins.
I got
week
the
one.
Mac Hollins one, week 1.
Yeah.
Did you call a Knox one?
I did, yeah.
Not for this.
Not
past
for this
week.
past game.
Oh.
For the game before.
So you don't get credit for that one.
That's fair, but I got the score right, so credit to me.
Get some bets from you.
Who do I think this week? You guys talk and I'll figure it out.
I'll give mine next because mine is actually a credit to Michael.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
So we can end this podcast and show on a good note.
Well, shouldn't Mike go and then you go?
No, because I'm going to set it up for him.
Okay.
So we've talked about before of things we hate doing around the house, right? My wife hates unloading the dishwasher. That is something that I have taken full responsibility of. When we have brought this up, I think a month or two ago, Mike talked about that he also unloads the dishwasher at his house and that he takes everything out of the dishwasher, puts everything on the countertops, and then puts it away. I thought that was insane because I thought it was 2 steps. I'm now taking everything out of the dishwasher, putting it on the countertops.
Right on the counter.
Credit to you, Michael. It is a better way to unload the dishwasher. I don't know how you guys unload the dishwasher at home, but it is a lot nicer to take everything out of the start bottom rack.
Yep.
You start bottom rack.
Got to start buying. Got to get that silverware out of there.
That's the worst.
Totally take that thing right out.
Yes. But
Then
because
you go
you don't
bottom
want the top rack to start the water that's left falling in. But I found myself, our dishwasher isn't great, and I've got to dry things, so I'm not drying them and going one by one, putting them away. So I'm kind of wiping them down, putting them on the counter, and all of a sudden, the other day, I'm like, I'm Catalana. He's right.
And when
credit to you, Michael.
Thank you, because when you get really, you'll know where to set them too, because you can have certain counters. I know the dishes are going left, glass is going right.
Yep.
Try to keep boom, 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 done.
Ken Waller saying dishwashers save marriages.
100%.
Yeah, because it gives the man something to do.
It's the hardest working. That for us is the hardest working appliance in our
It's a
house.
daily
Really?
thing.
Not
It's
a
daily.
It's a daily
washer
thing.
and dryer?
It's
Oh.
a daily thing.
Oh my God, I feel like we do laundry every day.
Wait till you have 2 kids.
I know. We literally talked about getting industrial sized washer dryer.
Now, do you separate? Like,
No.
me neither.
Absolutely not.
Right.
When my wife
Please.
does, she's like, oh, this goes here and that tan goes here. And I'm like, you just throw it all in on cold.
Hope for the best.
And whatever comes out. I don't dry everything. I hang up a lot of my dryable stuff. But
Have you ever, when you look at the dishwasher and it's done and everything's been done, do you ever turn it back on and let it run again?
Okay, I've never done that.
Because you don't want to do it.
No, I just have the fork laying on the sinks just so I can use it again.
no,
Like,
I've also had it too where it was clean and I put one thing, I put a couple things into it and you're like, gotta run the whole thing.
Yeah.
Run the whole thing again, I guess. Because
That's
I don't know
fair.
exactly what.
Renee can do it when she gets
Yeah.
home.
At that point, it's like, I ran the dishwasher, sweetie. It's up to you.
William Danner, so does Jenna put away dishes? Yes, I put away dishes. I do a lot of cooking too, grocery shopping. I like to cook.
What does Zach do?
Pays for bills. Pays for Jenna's
no,
shopping.
no, we usually go grocery shopping together,
Aw,
which I know a lot of people don't.
That's
do.
wild.
That's very
Really?
cute.
Yeah.
Don't you like to see what ingredients you get? No.
There's Renee. I'll be, we'll do this. Well, I need to be home so that she can text me. Do we need this? Do we need that? And then I just walk around my house saying what we need and what we don't have.
But we go to do you guys go to multiple grocery stores?
Nope.
We go to Aldi, we go to
Aldi's.
Wegmans, and we go to BJ's. And sometimes Trader Joe's. It's absurd.
We're sometimes Trader Joe's if we're out that way, and then get the rest at Wegmans.
Oh, really? Still full of Wegmans.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't hear that a lot anymore.
Yeah. Prices are high. What are you gonna do?
Go somewhere, else.
It is good quality. There are times when you get something at Trader Joe's and then the produce is gone quickly, like avocados. Not
Yeah,
great.
but avocados, it happens to everybody.
I know.
exactly.
All avocados. You just buy them to die.
Cheat code for you: get a bowl of cold water, put the avocados in, put it in your fridge. They last. And then that day you need an avocado, you take it out.
I feel like my issue with avocados is they don't get ripe. It takes like 7 years.
Well, I come back, it's a raisin. We're having my avocado.
That's it.
Okay, go ahead, Michael.
All right. This is simple for me. Credit to me. These guys mentioned the Hall of Fame. I like to talk, but I don't like talking about myself.
That is true.
But the credit to me is I get to have these guys with me in New York and my whole family with me, and they're all going to be there. So
Jenna's gonna cry.
Don't
She's
do it.
She's so gonna cry.
we'll be there. It's going to be kind of cool. But I just am happy that it's not just one of these things that I go up there and I got 2 people there. I have the people that mean the most to me there. So I'm looking forward to it.
Michael.
On Wednesday. Wow. We're all going to be there. So it'll be a lot of fun.
We are so excited for you. You deserve this.
Thank you. Should I wear the gold jacket? Can you imagine that? I walk up there and put it on.
I'll wear it. I'll wear it, and then
Dan's like, can I make it about me?
no. Who was the guy, the singer, that they would like put a cape on him?
Liberace? I'm trying to think of who.
I have no idea. They would put a cape on him? I don't know. Mike, that was very sweet. We're
Oh.
so excited for you. You
That'd be
deserve
fun.
this honor. Literally a broadcasting Hall of Fame. That's insane.
Work with a Hall of Famer.
You hang
Yeah.
around long enough, they just throw stuff
No,
at you.
that is not true.
Yeah.
Those
So,
are real tears.
it'll be fun.
This is not fake.
No. Shut up. Ruined
Shut up.
You got a lot of people comment. Oh, people are saying James Brown.
Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You remind me not at all of James Brown.
That is fair. We got a lot of people saying congratulations,
Oh,
Mike.
thank you. Thank you.
Very, very excited.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to get so many pictures. I'm going to be so annoying. Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
Sure
Okay,
is.
also
what are you
just-
wearing? What are you wearing?
I already asked. Jenny needs to send me what she's wearing also. Got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Real quick before we do wrap up, we just want to thank everyone because I think we've had such an amazing time doing this channel and working together and getting to share it all with you all. So thank you so much because you make this job really, really special. So we really appreciate it. All right. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, as well as share.
If you see us at the game on Sunday, give us a shout.
Yeah,
Yes.
we always like to say hi. And yeah, we'll have an update for your Hall of Fame next week.
week.
Next Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, a week from today.
Yep.
And also a reminder, this podcast starts at 7:15, just so that everyone is available.
Eastern.
Aware. Yes, 7:15 Eastern time. Mike signing in the Hall of Fame already. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and Mike is not leaving.
Oh, yeah. I haven't quit yet. They haven't kicked me out yet.
No.
I'm not leaving.
I'm not leaving.
I'm not leaving.
No, you're not allowed to leave.
Yeah.
So thanks. Okay, for Mike and Dan, I'm Jenna. We'll catch you next time here on the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel presented by Connors and Ferris. Thanks everyone for watching. Woo!